Okay, so I got some feedback this week that kind of got in my head, and I feel like I need to talk about it because I think it's bigger than me. So, a few episodes ago, I mentioned giving this keynote where someone told me afterward that maybe I should tone down the swearing. Well, I just got the official debrief from that event, and here's what it said. Leah's session was the most highly rated session overall. And then right below it, there is a little sub bullet that said, note, concerns were raised over inappropriate language and lack of religious sensitivity during the session. Okay, let me repeat this. The most highly rated session overall. But here's what my brain latched onto: the criticism, the note about the inappropriate language, the vague mention of religious sensitivity, which I'm still trying to figure out. I think it was probably the swearing that was offensive religiously. I'm not exactly sure because there was no other context to it. And here's the fucked up part. There were no notes for any other sessions, just mine. The one that was rated the highest, the one that people loved the most. But apparently, I made some people uncomfortable. So now there's like a special note in my file, if you will. And even though I know how ridiculous that is, even though I can see the conditioning for what it is, it still got to me. It still made me question my abilities, my effectiveness. And my immediate reaction was actually, it was disappointment, not pride that I had been the best speaker there, not satisfaction that I had impact, disappointment. Disappointment that I didn't make everyone happy. I instantly started second guessing everything. Maybe I should have been more careful with my language. Maybe I should have toned it down. Maybe if I'd been a little less me, I could have been perfect for everyone. But then I caught myself kind of mid shrink and I thought, wait, why the fuck am I doing this again? It was literally the highest rated speaker over the course of 3 days. People loved what I had to say. They connected with it. They were impacted by it. But because a few people didn't like that I said, fuck, twice, I think really honestly twice, I'm ready to change everything about myself. This is the shit that makes me crazy. We can objectively win, objectively succeed, objectively make a difference. But even if a handful of people are uncomfortable with who we are, we immediately start scanning for what we did wrong. And the worst part, even when you intentionally know it's bullshit, the doubt still creeps in. I spent the rest of that day like replaying every moment of the keynote, wondering if I really did say something offensive, wondering if I'm actually just an asshole who thinks she's being authentic, but is really just being inappropriate. And I think that's the insidious part of this conditioning. It doesn't just make us shrink in the moment. It makes us question our own judgment. It makes us wonder if maybe everyone else is right and we're wrong about who we are or who we should be. And it's not just me. I see it everywhere. Women apologizing for having opinions, women softening their language so they don't seem too aggressive, women making themselves smaller, more palatable, more pleasant so they don't make anyone uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to believe that being too much means we're wrong, that making anyone, not everyone, anyone uncomfortable means we need to fix ourselves, that the goal is to be acceptable to everyone all the time. But I don't know, what if that's complete bullshit? Because here's what I realized reading that feedback. This isn't actually about swearing. This is about the fact that when women show up fully expressed, fully themselves, fully powerful, some people are going to be uncomfortable with that. And we've been taught that their discomfort is our problem to solve. Think about it. How many times have you had a great idea in a meeting, shared it with confidence, and then immediately started questioning yourself because one person looks skeptical? How many times have you posted something you felt good about, then questioned it, or maybe even deleted it because you're worried it might offend someone? How many times have you apologized for taking up space, for having needs, for being passionate about something, for taking time for yourself, for putting yourself first? We're hardwired to not disappoint. We're hardwired to scan the room for the one person who isn't happy and then contort ourselves to try and fix it for them. Even when 99 people love what we're doing, we focus on the one who doesn't. And I hate that I do this. I hate that even after all the work I've done, all the therapy, all the conversations about not people pleasing, I still felt that familiar knot in my stomach when I read that feedback. I still had that moment of thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe I should be different. It's like there's this voice in my head that's always ready to side with the critics, always ready to believe that if someone doesn't like me, it must be because I'm doing something wrong. And I think the really, messed up part about it is this conditioning. It doesn't make us better. It doesn't make us more effective or more successful. It makes us smaller. It makes us beige. It makes us forgettable. Because the people who matter, the people I'm actually here for, they don't need me to be beige. They need me to be honest and bold and fully alive. They need me to say the things that other people won't say. They need me to be real, even if that makes people uncomfortable. But knowing that and feeling that are two different things. There are still days when I read comments on social media and I think maybe I should just not. Days when I wonder if it would be easier to just be a little more vanilla, a little more acceptable. The conditioning runs so deep that even when you're aware of it, even when you're actively fighting against it, it still whispers in your ear that maybe you really are too much. So here's what I decided when I was spiraling about this feedback being not for everyone. It isn't a flaw, it's a feature. The people who are offended by my swearing, they're not my people. And that's okay. I'm not trying to reach everyone. I'm trying to reach the women who are tired of being told to tone it down, to be more polite, to take up less space. When I try to be for everyone, I'm for no one. When I try to be acceptable to everyone, I become invisible to the people who actually need what I have to offer. My power, your power, it isn't in being palatable. It's in being real. And if our realness makes some people uncomfortable, that's not a problem to solve. It's information about who we're for and who we're not for. And maybe that's what we all need to remember. Maybe the goal isn't to never disappoint anyone. Maybe the goal is to disappoint the right people while serving the hell out of our actual people. That feedback, it could have sent me into a spiral of self-doubt and overcorrection. And for about 20 minutes, it did. And then I texted it to my best friend, who also has a business stake in this specific keynote. And she texted me back something simple and magical. Her only response was, "Congratulations on being the highest rated session." She ignored what was below that. The people I'm here for don't need me to be less. They need me to be more honest, more bold, more willing to say what everyone else is thinking but won't say out loud. And I'm not going to apologize for being fully expressed. I'm not going to soften my edges to make other people comfortable. I'm not going to shrink into spaces that were never meant for me anyway. I'm not going to only show up here talking to you via video. If you're watching me on video with perfectly done up hair, you're going to get me in my messy bun and my comfy clothes sometimes, because that's who I am. And here's what I know. Every woman who has ever made a real difference has disappointed someone. Every woman who has ever changed anything has made some people uncomfortable. And that's exactly as it should be. Being not for everyone isn't a bug. It's proof that you're doing something real. It's proof that you're not hiding, not shrinking, not apologizing for taking up space. It's proof that you matter. So if you're tired of shrinking to fit, if you're done apologizing for being fully expressed, if you're ready to disappoint the right people while serving your actual people, you're not alone. The Wired Collective is launching in like a week. And it's going to be the place where we stop trying to be for everyone and start being powerful for the people who actually matter. Where being too much isn't a problem solve, it's a superpower to embrace. So I'll put details in the show notes. Look, I don't know what feedback you've gotten that made you question everything about yourself. I don't know how many times you've been told to tone it down, be more polite, take up less space, but I know this. The people who matter don't need you to be less. They need you to be more honest, more bold, more willing to disappoint the people who were never your people anyway. You're not for everyone. I'm not for everyone. And that's our superpower.